Hello, and welcome to the very first EngErotics live stream. If you're new here, hi, I'm Jackie Mick, Chief Marketing Officer at EngErotics, and I'll be your host today. The live stream is this live stream is the start of a monthly hang where we unpack the ideas from our blogs in real time, with real bodies, real lives, and real conversations. Each month, the topic will shift and evolve based on what we're exploring together. For this month, our very first month, we're talking about something simple and powerful, naming what we're done holding. Not as a brand exercise, not as self-optimization, just as humans who are paying attention. Our vibe here is curious, intelligent, sassy, and of course, sexy. Thoughtful without being heavy, embodied without being precious, and rooted in real life. We believe pleasure gets easier when we stop overcomplicating it. And today is about creating that kind of space. And I'm obviously not the only one doing that. There are, sorry, I just watched myself live and then was making sure that we were going strong and ignored me. So I'm going to bring on extra people to join me on this journey. Today, I'm joined by the leadership team behind EngErotics, and we're going to start with something quick before we dive a little bit deeper. I'm going to ask each of us to introduce ourselves and share one word, just one. And I'm looking at you, Raven. I know this is going to be so hard. That names what we're not carrying into 2026.
I feel attacked. Shots fired.
No explanations. Okay. No explanations yet. We'll unpack it together later. Okay. So Raven, you're the founder and CEO of EngErotics. What is your one word?
Just one?
Yes.
Worry. My one word is worry.
All right. And then next, we have Heather, our COO and formulation specialist. One word.
My one word is perfectionism.
Ooh. And now we have Amanda Moser, our sexologist and CBD researcher. What is your single word?
Hi, my one word would be presence.
Ooh. And I'm Jackie, the Chief Marketing Officer, and my one word is actually two words, and it is social media.
So you got two words. She got two words.
It's one concept.
Right.
She can, but Raven can't.
Hey, Amanda, I think you should clarify for everybody. When you say presents, just make sure you're not talking about gifts, okay? Because you know there are going to be some people out there that are going to be like, why does Amanda not want presents? Okay, so.
As soon as I said it, I was like, dang, it sounds exactly the same, doesn't it? I meant more like
Amanda
present moment and peace.
So what made that word show up for you? That something you want to let go of in 2026?
Oh, I'm not letting go of it. I want more of it. I'm letting go of other things to achieve present moment and peace.
I'm glad you clarified, because I'm like, wait a minute, why is Amanda letting go of, like, she just described it so beautifully. Why are we letting go?
Yeah.
What are you letting go of? What are you letting go of? What is that one word? What are you letting go of?
You know, and we'll get into this, but I'm with Heather and perfectionism. It's hard. It's hard out here.
I want another word.
Your piece.
Jackie got two words. I want another word. My second word is bullshit. And anybody who knows me knows that I talk about this a lot. So the first one, worry, and the second one is bullshit. Okay. Heather, do you have a second word?
Yeah, let's.
You know, I really don't have a second word, because I think that perfectionism, like letting go of the need or the concept to be perfect as a goal, as an end finish line, is disruptive to so many of the other things that we're talking about. Like with Amanda, we were talking about it disrupts your peace. It affects who you are and how you present. And you know, I know we're all coworkers, so this kind of comes in a business context, but also in a personal context, just having that pressure of always being better, always reaching that finish line, and realizing that it's really not a finish line. It's a journey. And, you know, it's not straight. It's not a linear. It's not like you're going to reach this goal and then you're done. It's And it's okay. It's okay to enjoy the journey. It's okay to, screw up or not, to, have something great that maybe isn't perfect, but greatness is okay too.
That was awesome. What are the youngins doing? Is it this? Is that what we're doing? Is it tea? Is that what it is?
Oh, I have no idea.
Somebody, yeah.
I'm
I don't
so
know.
out of the
I'm
loop.
still on the 6'7" thing. I don't know anything past 6'7".
Is that what people see people doing like this after like something good happens? I don't know what it means, but I'm going to be 40 this year, so that explains it.
I'm
Is it
used to
like
like
a
this
snap?
being the tiniest
Yeah, I know it
violin.
snaps. I'm gonna do
Well,
this.
I think about the world's tiniest violin playing a sad song for somebody when you're trying to give them sympathy, not good things.
I'll have to ask my almost teenager when he comes home later.
We're
today.
gonna find out.
I'll get
6
clarity.
I know this isn't what we're talking about, but I love this generation of kids. I think how unapologetically just crazy, and I don't mean crazy. I mean like happy to be themselves. Just they're not trying to be perfect. They don't expect other people to be perfect. They just are being, and I really respect that about them.
Is it because
gives me
we're
hope.
healing from our generational trauma? Because we're,
Let's
I'm
hope.
in the like Heather and I, we're raising the next generation here, and I've had a lot of shit to heal from, and I don't want to pass it on. So but yeah, I'm so happy to see that too. Like that is, they're not going to have to worry about worry in the way that I've worried about.
Yeah, they'll have a whole new way to worry.
I like seeing the memes that they have going with the Gen X, like in their work culture, and how they also are just like a lot more chill about their work culture. And then we're over here like being perfectionists and grinding and it's never enough, right?
I will tell you that working with millennials is much easier than working with any of the older generations by far.
Thank you.
Because of
Elder
the healing that a great deal of the millennial generation has done. Like Gen Xers still, so many of the Gen Xers still uphold those weird values that they don't even really believe themselves. They grew up with them, so they think they have to hold on to them. And that's infuriating to me because they don't believe them. Why are you doing that, buddy?
Yeah.
Well, and I think that's what I love about the younger generation is that they're like, yeah, that's an old idea. The world has changed. The world has moved on, and we don't need to hold on to those ideas anymore. And that's okay. And I love that. I love that things do change. The world morphs, people morph, we grow, and go with it,
This is why it's so important to let shit go. Like, I feel like the context of our conversation is not just like in the, in the vacuum that is the perpetual, ever-changing, like we're going to get it someday, New Year's resolution. Like there's a sense of finality there. Like, okay, it's a new year. Yeah, new year, new you, blah, 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 blah. And that's a good time to let things go and blah, 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 but it's like, it's not a resolution. It's kind of like, maybe in a way, a resignation, I would say, like being resigned to the idea. Well, resigned sounds so negative, but but at some point you have to realize and embrace and resign oneself to the fact that there's some shit that's just not working. It's not serving you, and you get the same shit over and over and over again. And why am I hanging on to this? Maybe I ought to let it go, that's really important. Now, I think it's really odd. Like, and I was telling my husband this not too long ago, the start of the new year is in January, and it just, like, I know I follow the calendar too, like, but it doesn't really feel like my year restarts until around my birthday, which is in March, which is shortly after the spring solstice. Why? Because everything's blooming, everything's coming back, everything's being reborn. It's a renewal, it's a rebirth. And so I'm just like, I'm trying to like dig in the dead of winter. It's 11 degrees. It's not nearly as cold here as it is like out east, but it's still cold here in Denver. And, you haven't really quite woken up from your slumber, as it were. But I'm trying. That's why we're here, to like get the juices flowing, so we can slide into springtime. But, do you guys feel that, like with like spring, like actually being the new start? Like, because that's how it feels to me.
It's more of a renewal, but like in general, the last few years, probably since the pandemic, like New Year's hasn't hit as hard. Like it doesn't feel like I used to have a big New Year's party every year where we would write our goals or what the things that we wanted to let go from the previous year onto little pieces of wish paper and burn them, and they flew up into the sky. And I haven't done that since the pandemic, and it just doesn't feel like a restart anymore. It just feels like more of the same. Like I don't feel like I get a restart at all in the year anymore.
Yeah, the pandemic changed a lot. It changed a lot. I feel like that's a whole different conversation that it did. I feel you there. Are we going to talk about, do you want us to talk about our words? Like, y'all, this is not my show. Like everybody out there.
No, this is very free flowing. However the conversation goes is how it goes. The blogs are just the jumping off point.
I am not taking credit for this idea at all, even though I am the founder and CEO. I started the company. I do not drive everything inside of the company. So I am here because Jackie told me that I'm going to be here. So I'm here. You know? So Jackie's telling us like what the format of the show is. Do you want us to talk about our words or?
Oh yeah.
Or I know you had like a really snazzy outline, which I thought was really cool for the flow of the show.
They're only if needed. Yeah.
We don't have to stick
it's
to
just
that.
backups. They're just backups. Just my panic plan.
Man, letting go of worry is, and that's a tall order for me because anybody who knows me will tell you I am a worrier. I am a worrier, and I can't help it. Like, I almost can't help it. It's like a compulsion. There are things that I worry about that nobody else is just everybody's solid. For me, the litmus test in my house is, because I'm, like I said, I'm a worrier. My husband doesn't worry about shit. And so the litmus test is he worried? Here's the flow chart. Is he worried? If no, then I don't need to be worried. There's probably nothing to be worried about. And it's probably just me. Is he worried? It's yes. Okay. All hands on deck. Shit's going.
Are there ever times where you get frustrated at him, like at a time when you're worried and you get frustrated at him because he's not?
Yeah. And other people who aren't worried as well. Not just him, but other people who are not worried as well. And, and it's very much like a me thing. It doesn't have anything to do with them. It's more like, this is really important to me. This is really important to me. And sometimes it's like, how dare they not feel worried? Don't they see how important this is? Like, don't they see how important this little teeny tiny detail that only I see and know about and care about matters in the grand scheme of things? This could matter 5 years from now. We don't know. I have to worry about it right now. And so, I get a little annoyed. But, many years and thousands of dollars in therapy has taught me that if I would only take the time to pause and slow down, take a minute and breathe and consider the idea that there might just be a perspective that I'm incapable of seeing because I'm busy worrying, which takes energy. And it's really hard to come up with a solid plan if you're clouded with worry and emotion. I'm not saying that, it's wrong to worry. We all worry about things, but sometimes my journey as a founder, there's been a lot of things that have kept me up at night. My journey as a parent, as a mother, a lot of things that have kept me up at night and still do from time to time. Some of them are worth worrying about. Yes. Other things are I can't do anything about this right now, or this is not in my control, or even worst case scenario, it's really not going to be that bad. So why am I worried about it? So I'm not telling y'all, everybody, all 8, 9, 10 followers, subscribers that we have right now. Hopefully there's more. I'm not telling you guys not to worry. I guess maybe I need to be more intentional about the things that I spend my burning energy on worrying about. Because it does suck energy.
Whatever's going to happen is going to happen, whether you worry about it or not.
Mm-hmm. And the things that you've already done, they're already done. You know, it's have you ever seen those cartoons about, or those memes or whatever about people being up at night, like all of a sudden worried about some awkward shit that they said 20 years ago. You know, like, oh my God, what do they think of me? Blah, 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 blah. And it's like, to be honest, like that person probably forgot. Like nobody.
That stuff used to keep me up at night all the time. Like I used to obsess. I have OCD. I can say that. I used to obsess about, you know, things that I did in the past or things like that. And this is one of the things that Logan and I talk about a lot when we watch TV. And that's like how people don't give a fuck what you're doing. They're involved in themselves. They're so self-involved. And even the things where they're hurting your feelings, it still has to do with them. So I probably give a lot more grace to a lot of people because I go all the way down and I'm like, oh, I can see why they're treating me this way. I still have sympathy for them.
Yeah. You know, ask Heather about all of the conversations she's had with me. There have been many conversations where Heather has like talked me right off the ledge. And that is real. Like Heather it has always been the ballast within the company that's like, Raven, it is okay. Like you don't need to like bolt straight to the stratosphere. It is okay. There's nothing that we can do to change XYZ, or if XYZ were to happen, it's really not going to be as bad as you're making it out to be. And that is really important. I mean, for anybody watching, like, you know, that is really important, like in your life. And in business as well, because you can't drive a business fueled by worry and fear. Like you just cannot. Does it happen? Do I feel worry and fear? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. This is why being a solopreneur, in my opinion, can harm you more than it can help you, because you really need, like, you know, it's helpful to have community. Like y'all are like, you know, the community like within internally inside the business that keeps the ship on track, you know? And even though I'm like the founder, like I'm at the helm or whatever, you know, that doesn't mean I'm the only person that's qualified to talk about what matters. So yeah, I mean, needless worries, unnecessary worry. It's not serving me.
And you can have something that's really important, but still not worth worrying about. You can have something that, you know, 5-10 years down the road is important to keep on your radar. It's important to be aware of, but it doesn't deserve your energy of worrying about it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So yeah, and that's going to come up. I mean, you know, be ready for more conversations with your favorite founder and CEO where she's worried about some dumb shit. Except like in my mind, it's like, it doesn't feel like dumb shit. It feels huge.
Yeah. If you didn't worry, you don't care really. And it's, I don't know. Worry is important, but also annoying.
It is. I feel like, you know, and I can definitely like resonate with, you know, Heather's perfectionism and Amanda like perfectionism, and the social media piece too. We need to talk about all those things, not just worry. But I feel like, you know, perfectionism kind of latches on to part of that worry as well, because it's like what we do. I mean, you know, we've been in business for nearly 10 years. We've always been forward facing. And so like, there's always this nagging feeling in the back of my mind, like, it's probably going to be all right, except for when it's not. And I'm trying to just like, girl, no, like you've been in business for nearly 10 years. It's fine. You're all right. So not everything's got to be perfect to be great. You don't need to worry about being perfect. You don't need to worry about getting every account. You don't need to worry about hitting your goals like the first time, like, you know, so it's an exercise in mental resilience, I think.
I really think all 4 of the things that we picked to let go this year kind of fit together. Like they're all about the same thing, which ties being present, because when I'm on social media, I am not present with the world around me. I am present with my phone, and I don't want to do that anymore. I live in
it was before.
Place. Huh?
It's not like it was before. Can we talk about like when Facebook first became a thing, when social media first became, do y'all remember Amanda,
It was
do you
about
remember?
Oh yeah, it was 2006 that I got my first Facebook, and I was like, "Let's go!" Let's go. And I remember that it was seen as not as adult as MySpace, because I remember my mom was like, "I don't want you to have a MySpace, but you can have a Facebook," and I was like, "Sold, sold. I'll take it."
Man, MySpace. Woo! MySpace was it was starting some drama because
That
it was
a
all
wild
about
list.
who was in your top 8. Who was
Yeah.
in your top
Top
8?
3.
You like logged in there and you weren't in such and such as top 8, and you're like, wait, what the you know, like, and then everybody was like doing like their little HTML, so it was like all these horrible backgrounds and music
just everywhere.
We were all coders.
like it was something, but it was cool. It was real. I really enjoyed it. I got on Facebook in 2004. That's the year that I was a freshman in college, and it was only open to universities. Like you had to have an @edu,
Yeah.
.edu email address. So you had to be a student or somehow be a part of the academic world. So high schoolers weren't on there. Your auntie, your mama, your older cousins that are barely computer literate, they weren't on there yet. And it was really just like, you know, you didn't even have like custom, like you couldn't type what you wanted in your status. You had like a drop down. You got to tell people you were in the library. You got to tell people you were studying. We were like, oh, you know.
Can you believe that the whole thing started because some nerd wanted to rank the girls he went to college with?
Yeah, I read that. Yeah.
Really? I did not know
Oh my
that.
God. Have you if you haven't seen the movie The Social Network, I highly recommend it. It's a eye-opening story about the beginning of Facebook, and it's very well done.
This is why
Very
it's
well.
so good to be damn near 40, because you just don't give a fuck about things like that. You know, but yes, I didn't actually watch the movie, or I've not seen it all the way through. But I did read. I've read, you know, a lot of pieces on, you know, the start of social media and what was happening around that time. Like, mind you, this was before smartphones. Everybody was still rocking their Nokia or their
And
Motorola.
you can only do Facebook on a computer.
Yeah, that was what it was. We were not Facebooking from our phones. Like you had to go home or go to the library, someplace where there was like a laptop or a desktop set up, you know, and sit down and log into your Facebook account. But there were no smartphones just yet. And even when there weren't any apps, social media apps. The apps, the first app I remember, it was like, it made it look like you were drinking a beer out of your phone.
Oh my God, it brought me back. Oh, I forgot about that.
Oh my gosh,
And that's all it did was just.
Yeah, and it just, that's all it did. You just grabbed your phone and you just, you know, and it just, on the screen, it just made it look like you were drinking a beer out of your phone. Everybody was like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. And then there was one that was a lighter that you would flick. You would flick the lighter. It was not a functional light source. It was just, hey, I have a lighter on my phone. It doesn't light nothing up. That's all it was.
I remember Angry Birds having a hold on me for like a full year.
Oh my gosh. Heather, you have had like some really pointed opinions about social in the last several times we've talked about it, because we talk about social a lot and like how it either hurts or helps EngErotics. So do you want to share some of your opinions about social media?
Sure. I have a lot of opinions. So full disclosure, Jackie, like I read your blog when we were proofreading stuff, and I went, yeah. So I personally mostly got off social media. I still have a couple of accounts that I check on occasion as needed, but in general, I'm not on social, and I haven't been for about 3 years now. And it makes me so happy because it's all that drama. And right now, a lot of it's AI bots, like you were talking about in your blog. It's not even real people. Yeah. And it's infuriating. And I made the conscious decision of this doesn't serve me anymore. I don't want to be here, and I don't want to spend my energy on this. Yeah. And that's been really helpful for me personally, just redirecting and choosing how I spend my energy and my time. So I fully support your your endeavor to leave social.
I bet
It's-
that feels incredibly freeing.
It does. And, you know, and that's not to say that social isn't important. Social is incredibly important in our society. But for me personally, it's like anything else that we consume, right? Be intentional with what we're consuming, whether it be media or, you know, whatever it is. We need to be intentional. And if it's no longer serving you, then move on.
I think the thing that's making me saddest about the state of social media currently, I mean, aside from the AI bots and all of the arguing, is when I see like a human who I know in person change from using their own words to letting the AI write their status updates. And I'm like, I don't care what a robot has to say to me. I care what my friend has to say to me. And to that end, my favorite social media platform has been for like 4 years. This one that I do once a day. It's called Be Real. It pings your phone once a day. You take a picture of where you are, your face, while you're looking at whatever where you are, and then that's it. And then your friends post their Be Reals at the same time or whenever they decide to do it. But like I have a few, like a core group of friends who has been on Be Real for like the past 4 to 5 years. And all of their lives have changed for like the better. And part of it is because they're forced to look at their face every day. I hated that part of Be Real. I hated looking at myself every day, but now I'm used to it. It's helped me let go of like so much of my personal appearance obsession. Like I joke all the time that I dressed more adult in middle school than I do now as a grown up. Like I was wearing like pantyhose to middle school and like business clothes. Like I don't know what I was thinking, but I
got a comment about those. Finish what you're saying, but
I just cannot recommend Be Real enough. But pantyhose,
I can't recommend pantyhose. Well, I mean, I like tights. That pantyhose have their place. Let me walk that back a little bit. I too wore pantyhose in middle school and high school, but it was because I went to a religious middle school and high school. I went to a Lutheran middle school and a Catholic high school, and we were required to wear pantyhose for like Mass Day or whatever. And it was like a big deal. Like when it was hot outside, like they'd make this announcement because the young men, the boys had to wear ties. Gentlemen, you may remove your ties. Ladies, you may remove your pantyhose. And it was
yeah, I was not required to
as you were talking.
I was not required to. I lived in rural redneck Georgia, so I don't know what I was thinking.
Yeah,
but you're just doing you, right? I mean, that's okay.
Well, I guess I wasn't doing me. I was trying to fit in with what the people around me were doing, and they were all dressed like 1980s businesswomen for some reason.
I mean, fair, because in middle school, that's why middle school's so tough, right? Because it's like the power of like wanting to conform and be like everybody else. I mean, I kind of feel like the older we get, like we kind of revert to who we were, like that weirdo, like in our adolescence. We're the same person, except like hopefully with a car and more money, hopefully. You know, like, and I mean, it's like I've always been who I am. I have always been who I am, but I remember like being in middle school and what that was like. My son is not far from middle school, and I'm just like working so hard to let him know that it is okay to be who you are. Like, be the trendsetter. Like, if people are gonna, you know, want to fit in with something, maybe they should be trying to fit in with you and what you're rocking with, because what you're rocking with is great, you know? And that's really important to remember, because we all have to go on that journey, like discovering who we are, like even when we're adults, you know, like in our 20s. And we were talking about this a bit, you know, like before we came on live, because, you know, it's like, Jackie, I believe you'd be the most seasoned person in the company. And, you know, and Amanda's bringing up the rear here, you know, as she just entered her 30s, and, you know, Heather and I are getting ready to turn 40. And I was saying earlier that I feel like that, oh, be nice, just be nice, play nice. the be nice thing, like that be nice hormone is going away. Like it is starting to go away. And it isn't because I'm an unkind person. I wouldn't say I'm a nice person all the time. There's a difference between being nice and kind. I would say that I'm always kind. You know, I'm not always nice though. You can ask anybody. There's probably, you know, but there's a difference there, and I'm cool with that. Like, I'm cool with that. I'm cool with me. I feel really confident. Like, I'm about to be 40, y'all. Like, some people have like a whole meltdown when they're about to turn 40, and I'm over here like, yes, I'm about to be 40, and I figured a lot of stuff out, healed a lot of stuff in my 30s. There were people that I've cut loose and people that I've welcomed back in, but everything's got to be aligning. Like, it got to be like solid, because as I enter the fuck it 40s, you know, I got things that I want to accomplish, and I don't need things that complicate that getting in my way, you know? So, but I did download the Be Real app. We've talked about it before in the past.
I love it.
And so I downloaded it as you were speaking, and I'm going to check that out because, you know, like I am still on social media. And I kind of feel like this is going to sound really awful and like a big excuse. I kind of feel like I'm obligated to, as the founder of the company, like as the founder, the thought leader. A lot of people find me on social media. A lot of people connect with me on LinkedIn. I love that piece of it. Facebook's gotten a little harder for me because of all like the, you know, AI stuff. But
There's so much to wade through on Facebook.
There is. And I'm still on there. Like I'm on Instagram. I love cake baking videos. And I have learned recently that maybe I need to step my game up from just using buttercream. Maybe I need to be seeing what ganache is all about. Maybe I need to cover my cake.
I love ganache.
In ganache. So I'm going to give that a try. I'm learning all kinds of cool things from Instagram. So it's like, for me, like there's a time and a place during the day. Like I can't sit and scroll while I'm trying to get work done. LinkedIn though, like that's how I connect with other founders. That's how a lot of press opportunities have found me, all kinds of stuff. So I feel like there's this obligation as the founder, the face, the CEO, all that jazz. So I try to be more intentional with my use. One of the things I have noticed though, since the pandemic, I can't say that I care very much about if I show up on social, not done up. Now today I'm done up for y'all because it's our first, you know, hey, let's take the YouTube channel for a drive and see what happens. Mm-hmm. But we're going to hop on one of these lives and I'm going to be sliding in from the gym and, you know, and I'm just going to be, you know, unshowered, no makeup, and that's okay too.
Well, I think that humanity is missing from the internet now. Mm-hmm. Everybody's trying to look shiny, and I don't want a shiny internet. I want a human internet.
I mean, when I look shiny, it's generally like sweat and oily skin. And you know, it's not anything glamorous.
This is silly, but do you notice how when people do like AI generated images, they have like that yellowy filter over them? I'm waiting for like makeup influencers to do like a yellowy AI makeup look.
I have.
It's gonna happen.
I have. And, you know, it's been really like, you know, I feel like, you know, AI is a tool like anything else. And I mean, we've been here before. Like, I feel like, you know, we're all old enough to remember like the iterations throughout the last several decades of all the stuff that people just didn't want to embrace. You know, I vaguely remember a news report. I was a little girl, and this was like everybody was still on dial-up. You know, you couldn't pick up the phone because like you kick somebody off the internet. And they were having this very in-depth discussion about email. And are people actually going to communicate this way? Are we actually going to use email? And there were people who were not on board with using email. It was like, you know, they were talking about, well, what's the @ symbol? Like, what is that about? Blah, 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 blah. Like, nothing is going to replace, you know, person-to-person. Well, nothing is going to replace person-to-person connection. Let me say that. But, you know, at that time, it's like, nah, like this is a passing fad. You know, there's always going to be like whatever it is, there's always going to be people who are resistant to it. Another example, completely not tech related, or maybe it is, depending upon how you define tech, the seatbelt laws. When it became law that you needed to wear a seatbelt in your car.
Well, and drinking and driving.
Yeah, there were a lot.
I remember my dad driving around with a beer between his legs for most of my childhood. And I remember when that became illegal, it was a very hard thing for him to stop.
It was, yeah. There were a lot of people who had, they were not okay with it. And there was, I don't know, something I watched. They had snippets of interviews of people who they were not on board with the seatbelt law at all. Well, they can't tell me what to do in my own car. This is my car. If I want to wear a seatbelt, then I'll wear a seatbelt. But I'm not, there are people that were worried they were going to get stuck in their car, all kinds of stuff. There were people that were very much against it. And now it's like, we don't go nowhere unless everybody's buckled up in my car. Like what other people do in their car is their business, obviously. But, we wear our seatbelts. It's common now, but yeah.
I would give somebody a look if they didn't buckle up in a car. I would
absolutely.
Be like,
there's always going to be people, that are averse to whatever it is. So it's like, I don't think that there's anything that we can do about, the spread of AI. But it's a tool. Like I feel about AI the way I feel about most other things. It's pretty neutral. Like, it's a tool, and it really, really depends on who is using it. As if you had a magic wand, you could do anything you wanted with your magic wand. What do you create?
I look at a lot of the people that are using it, and they're not using it for good.
It's true.
Well, that's just it.
I'm not going to argue about that.
It's all about what is it being used for?
To make money.
Well, so that's part of the issue of social, right? Is that you're getting online and finding all of these people who aren't people. Or I know it's an issue on dating sites too, where you'll be talking to somebody who doesn't exist. But the intent behind it matters a great deal, just like any other tool that we have access to. AI is not going away. I use it fairly frequently. It's great in small doses when it does what I'm looking for it to do. But arguing on the internet, hopping on Facebook and arguing with somebody who doesn't even exist, no, thank you.
Yeah, no, we're not.
I also don't want it to be the first thing that comes up when I do a search for something. I want the search. I don't want an AI overview that's never correct.
Yep.
Right.
That makes sense.
And when somebody starts quoting one to me, I shut my brain down because it's not correct.
Yeah.
Because you're not doing research. You're letting somebody spout something that they think sounds like, because that's what AI does. It gives whoever's querying them what they think they want. End of story.
Have you read about AI influencers on Instagram?
Oh, yeah.
Everybody there's
AI actresses now.
Yeah, and it's a lot.
It's all things that humans could do, though. We don't need it.
You know what just came to mind? Has anybody read Brave New World by Huxley?
Yes, repeatedly.
Have you read it, Heather? Have you read it?
I have not. I'm familiar with it, but I haven't read it. You
should read it. It is one of my all-time favorite books. It's not a happy read. It doesn't have a happy ending. But it's so well written. And I read it for the first time when I was in high school. And one of the things that my English teacher told us before we read this book was this was written before a time when the things that are described in the book existed. And so I'm not going to spoil the book. Y'all can read. Everybody's literate. I'm only on 2 cups of coffee. Everybody's literate in this room. But in Brave New World, in this dystopian future, human beings, they're grown, they're developed in labs, and they are predestined to be part of a caste. If you're an alpha, I would not be an alpha. I ain't gonna even hold you, okay? The epsilons were at the bottom, and they were short and they wear black. All right. So if that wasn't some sort of dog whistle, I don't know what is. Okay. The alphas are tall, wear red. They're the professionals. They're the doctors. They're the lawyers. They make the most money. The epsilons wear black. They're short. They have the, they work in sanitation plants, they're janitors, things like that, and everything in between. It varies. But it's like before you're born, like you're developed in a lab. Like sex is not used. Like in this book, sex is not for procreation. It's for recreation only, and there's no monogamy. And so during our discussion, like in my high school, I think it was AP English or something, cannot remember, but we were talking about, fertility treatments, in vitro fertilization. Now, I was in school, like I started high school in 2000 and graduated in 2004. So we're in the early aughts. Like this is before we're having conversations about what we're talking about now when it comes to genetic counseling and things like that. You see where this is going. So if you haven't read it, please do. It's a great book. It's not going to make you feel good per se. That's not what it's for.
It will not make you excited for the future.
It doesn't, but it's always stuck with me. It's one of those books, you'd think it would be a book about sex, like but it kind of is a book that sort of is about sex, because it talks about pleasure in this dystopian universe and what it means to the collective, what it's for. And if I'm being honest, like they're just talking about, straight up sex in Brave New World. They're not necessarily talking about intimacy like what we advocate for at EngErotics. So that's my feel. Brave New World, it's a great book. Love it. 5 stars, whatever the star
It
system.
is a great book.
It is a great book. So, but yeah, I feel ya. And social media ties into perfectionism too. For obvious reasons.
Well, like I said, they all of our things tie into each other.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, Amanda, what about what's disturbing your peace? What's making you not happy right now?
Oh, stop all that.
Sorry.
Well, according to my therapist, this when I read yours, Heather, also during the editing and when it was published, I was like, wow, Heather and I are going through very similar thought processes in what we do, how we do it. And it's always that moving the finishing line. And you think that once you achieve something, that's going to be it. And I'm going to be fulfilled. And I'm going to, just chill the rest of my life. And that never happens, right? You hit that achievement and then it's something else. And then it's something else. And it's like, when is it ever going to be enough?
That's valid. And that's stressful. That's exhausting. It's exhausting to never feel like you're enough or that you've achieved your goals.
I know. Look at these bags, girl. No, they are no longer bags. They are luggage. Okay.
How do we decide when to stop?
I feel like I've just accepted that I'm not ever really gonna be done. I mean, it's not because I don't feel like what I've done is enough. It's not that I don't feel like I'm enough. It's just I just want to go do more shit. There are other things I want to do. And, Jackie, as you were talking about, I'm not arguing with bots on the internet, and Heather, you're talking about, I'm not arguing with bots on the internet and on social media. It immediately made me think of something that I just recently learned. So I don't know if y'all knew this, everybody's going to know now, but I have this low key plan to go to law school. And it's Raven, you're damn near 40. Why are you doing you got kids and you already have 2 degrees, in engineering, no less, why? And I'm like, why not? It seems like the next thing that I want to do. Several years ago, I kind of came to terms with the fact, not the idea, but the fact that, I just didn't want to do any more structural design outside of EngErotics. I've crunched plenty of numbers. I've done a lot of math, and I love math. I love science. What I've learned from being, at the helm of EngErotics, that this piece, the forward-facing piece, that's a lot of fun. My other endeavors, very forward-facing, getting the deals, reading the contracts, things that, you don't really do when you're just, you're doing the design work. Design work's cool. But it's just I've had enough of that. And there's always this push within myself to learn more. And so, being an entrepreneur and some of the other stuff that I'm dealing with in my world, really pointed me in the direction of, well, I think I'd like to learn more about the legal system. So as y'all were talking about arguing about bots, or arguing with bots on social rather, it reminded me that several days ago, I was sitting in front of my computer and I was, I'm learning about what I need to do to sit for the LSAT exam. And that's the entrance exam to get into law school. So there's no guarantee that I'm going, y'all. Like I gotta do that part first. But learning about the LSAT, what it is, what it's like, where to take it, how to study, all that jazz. And so I learned that there is a portion on the LSAT called argumentative writing. And it is what it sounds like. Like you have to state your position. You got to argue your position. And so I looked at that and I'm like, that's exactly what people think they're doing on the internet, very, very poorly. But and so I've long since stopped arguing with people on the internet. I'm kind of like, well, if you like it, I love it. I mean, you are more than you can be right all day long, because I'm not going to change anybody's mind on the internet. I'm really not. But how do you change?
Wait, I don't agree with that. I think that you will change people's mind on the internet but by being yourself, not by arguing with them. By leading by example, by showing by the posts that you make and the things that you put out there. That's how you will change people on the internet.
Sure. That I will concede that point. I meant like I ain't changing nobody's mind sliding into the comment section at 10 o'clock at night or in the middle of my workday. Like people, I absolutely not.
Yeah.
But yes. Okay. So you have an excellent point. You can change people's minds on the internet. I was saying more like the internet being like social media in the comment section. That is a train wreck, a dumpster fire, and a hot mess where people have already decided that the bullshit meme that was generated by AI is correct. That's what I meant.
I will tell you something kind of embarrassing, but very funny. There are a few people that I continue to follow on social media that are from the complete opposite of my political and social justice arena. Simply so I can like keep up with what they're saying. And it's one of my favorite train wrecks to watch. And I'm so embarrassed about it.
Don't be embarrassed.
It feels embarrassing.
I think it's really important. Like there are people that I follow that, I wholeheartedly disagree with. Why do I follow them? It's because they make coherent arguments. They actually take the time to write something coherent and well thought out. And even if I believe it's misguided or blatantly wrong, like it's not, they're not coming out like, F everybody, and unfriend me if you disagree. Like, it's something that I care to read because it's actually written well. I'm not saying that something that's written well is going to be correct. I'm saying that it's not going to give my eyes a stroke reading it. Okay. And y'all know what I'm talking about. The people that take the time, to make sure that
paragraph breaks,
punctuation, not everything is written in caps, not everything is written in lowercase, taking great care with how they're putting their idea out into the world. That's important to me. Now, I'm not saying that it needs to be perfect. I'm not trying to like contradict, like, I'm not saying that perfectionism is what I'm seeking. Like I'm seeking like, good thought, like effort, behind the thought, because I don't live in a vacuum. Like there are a number of people like in my life, it's going to happen. Like you can't like seal yourself off. Like you can try, but I've worked with all kinds of different types of people. I still do. And you still have to find a way to like, do that deal, have that conversation, talk about whatever it is that doesn't have to do with the thing that you so disagree with so hard. So.
Well, disagreement is an opportunity for growth. And I think so few people remember that's why we have discourse. That's how we can present an argument or even walk away from something and say, hey, I respect you and I respect the points you made, but I still think you're wrong. That's
Yeah.
okay. It's
Mhm.
okay to disagree with somebody. It's not okay to come up and just, have that FU attitude, I'm right, you're wrong, screw you. That doesn't help anybody. And that's what I think a lot of these arguments on social in particular have kind of dissolved into. And I miss that discourse where you used to be able to have an intelligent discussion with someone that you disagreed with. Like
People don't have patience with feeling uncomfortable anymore. People don't
yeah.
want to feel uncomfortable feelings anymore, so they just avoid them altogether. And that's why nobody's growing, because they're avoiding uncomfortable things.
I have a vivid memory from college. I can't remember who I was arguing with. This was like a real argument about something that doesn't matter anymore. I can't remember who it was exactly. There are 3 names that come to mind. I'm not going to say any of them. But and the person, I think it was, he and I are still very, very good friends. We were arguing about something, and it like spilled over onto social media and Facebook. Now I was in college, so this was like circa 2006, 2007. I don't know. I have no idea. All I know was like, I said something to the effect of, well, look, I'm not arguing about this on here anymore. If you have a problem, you can come over and we can argue about it in person. And they sure did. Okay. Like 15 minutes later. And I'm like, and I just started laughing. I just started laughing. And I don't think we had much to argue about that, about whatever it was. That doesn't matter after that. But I think about that sometimes because 1, it was so funny, and 2, it was like, this mattered like very much to this other person. It mattered enough to me, like, look, I'm not doing this. Well, we can do this in person. I'm like, fine, we're going to do it in person. And they came right on over. And I think we talked about it, and then maybe had a beer or something, and then that was it. But it makes me giggle because like we like that sort of like connection really has gone away. And this is why I really like what we're doing here. Like, as I was saying, before we went live, this is a very big full circle moment. I used to do things like this all the time, but within what was the EngErotics community on Facebook, it was a private group. I shelved it at the end of last year. It served its purpose. Before, in years past, it was everything. We gained a lot of traction, a lot of revenue, a lot of incredible growth because of that community that has grown and shrunk over the years. But I did a lot of this. I would like hop on my computer, and I didn't even have like a fancy, like, whatever this is, no background. And I was just like talking about what we were doing, what we were developing, and people loved it. There was no script. There was no like, I'm like, yeah, I'm just going to do it this way today. Like, I wasn't concerned about hashtagging, the algorithm. Like, at that time, EngErotics was not on Instagram. There was no TikTok. There was none of that. And it was really fun. And as the companies started growing, I had less and less time. So this is really fun for me. Like, this is really fun. I think this is going to be like a great opportunity to talk about things that, I mean, just stuff as human beings. Cause we talk about business all the time. People who have found us here, that already know us, already know what we do. People who find us and don't know what we do will figure out what we do. Yeah. But it's nice to talk about things besides like, business and, like, and even like, we don't have to limit ourselves to sexual wellness. Even like, we can talk about that all day long too. But, today we're talking about the shit that we're letting go of in 2026, that's big. Like, that's a real conversation that is very candid, very authentic. You don't see that a lot, in my opinion.
And we're at like almost an hour, and it does not seem like we've been talking for almost an hour. But I think, one last question that I do want to ask that I came up with while we were talking. So I'm really putting you on the spot here. Does anyone other than me have a favorite song about letting go?
I mean, no, but there's that magical Ice Queen, from Disney.
That's the first one that I think of every time, and it's not even my pick.
So admittedly, that song was not the first song that popped into my head. My mind went to, I had a breakup mix in college.
Mhm.
Okay. Like I had a mix for everything. For you youngins out there, this is when we were still like doing our iPods and we were using iTunes and stuff. Like I had all my playlists in iTunes. Okay, so I thought about that, and then for whatever reason, I don't even remember if I liked this song or I don't know when it came out, but it's been out for quite some time. Beyonce's "Irreplaceable," and it was just to the left, and it's not about letting go of but it's like some bullshit person like, here, all your shit's in a box, everything's in there, like get out, and I'm like, that's not what we're talking about. We're not talking about breaking up with people. We're talking about breaking up with,
That's still letting go of things. You can put everything that you don't like in your box to the left. It's fine.
So
Just a mental box in your brain.
that is what I thought of. Thank you for putting it into context. Because I'm like, that doesn't seem quite right. But
No, it
what
fits
about you, Amanda?
perfectly.
It fits.
She asked, and honestly, I forgot every song that I ever heard.
Yeah, I apologize because that's exactly how my brain
don't
would have
know
done
any
if somebody
song
did
right
it to me.
I
I'm so
can't tell
sorry.
you one song.
I'm
That's
like trying
exactly
to
what
think,
my brain would have done.
I'm trying to think of another too. Like I'm trying to think of another. And it's like after we get off this thing, I'm gonna have like 5 or 6 picks
Yeah.
that I
Well, if we all come up with 5 or 6 picks, we could just list them and make it a blog.
I'll
could
make it a little playlist.
make it a
Yeah,
playlist,
yeah,
you know?
yeah, 100%. Make a playlist, and then because when we put out this episode, I will write a little show blog for the podcast, and then I can put our playlist in there with our songs, our letting go songs.
That sounds great. I love it.
I love this.
promise I'll have a few more because my music library is vast. So I know it's in there. I just,
Yes. Well, I can only think of the one that made me ask this question, and it is a song called Jenny Says by a band called Cowboy Mouth. And I saw them live a lot of times, and it's like a religious experience, and I'm not exaggerating. It's just like the happiest I've ever felt every time I get to go see Cowboy Mouth. And their number one song is this song called Jenny Says, and they play it at the end of the show every time. And what they're really good at is getting the crowd into the song. Like if you go to a Cowboy Mouth show and you stand at the back, you're just not going to get what you need out of it. But the song, the chorus is just let it go, let it go, let it go over and over and over again. And at points in the concert, he's got the entire crowd down on the ground. And he's like, when I say let it go the next time, I want you to jump up in the air and scream as like your life depends on it, because your life does depend on it. And just like the collective feeling of everybody just screaming, let it go, let it go, let it go at the top of their lungs is one of the best feelings I've ever had. And I've got to like 5 times I've seen them. And I've met one of my best friends because Cowboy Mouth was our favorite band at the same time. And now we're like basically the same person.
I mean, do y'all want to meet somewhere collectively so we can just like scream?
Mhm.
Jackie's got to fly to Denver to join us.
Yeah.
But I would be so down for that.
Yeah, I can do that.
We've got a couple minutes left. Is there anything? Do we want to do the obligatory like shop with us thing? Are we doing that today?
Well, I have a little outro that I will say, and then we can
Okay.
say whatever we want to say. But also, let me do this.
Ooh.
Look at that. This feels like a good place to pause. If there's one thing that we hope you take from this, is that naming what you're done holding creates space for what actually nourishes you. And then before we go, we're offering 20% off everything on the EngErotics site, EngErotics.com. No code needed. Just shop the site now through February 6th. The sale ends February 6th at 11:59 p.m. MST. And then make sure you're subscribed to YouTube so you don't miss our next live stream. And that's it. That's the end now.
MST is mountain time. For some people are going to be like, what the hell is MST? Mountain time. It's not on the banner, but EngErotics is in Denver. That's the official city for EngErotics.
Yes.
We are a mile above sea level. And if you miss the sale because you don't get your time zone straight, it's happened. Do not email me. Okay. Mountain time. That's it.
Okay. All right. Let's all say bye, and then I'll end the stream. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.